I am having the weirdest bout of deja vu. Oh, shit's so weird. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. What around you? Let me clean my glasses before I even start this because I know I'm gonna get annoyed. Blow me from the mountain. If you love me, you would send me more of these things. Just because I lose them a lot and my glasses are always so fucking dirty. What around you prevents progress? What behaviors can you identify as obsolete? That is to say, what behaviors are relatively outdated for tomorrow's society? Are we able, as a communal nation, to not only call it by its name, but be active in managing it? This is about doing an internal inventory of social behaviors that hinder elevation. This is about having the willingness to revise our own behavior for the sake of social growth. My name is Fred, and this is my gun, and this is my rifle. Pop, pop! Before I begin, I just really want to stop and thank everyone for supporting, for sharing, for your likes, for your comments, for your messages about this project. I'm internally grateful and appreciative of everyone, family, friends, people I don't know, HMU, whatever, thanks. Also, subscribe, like, follow for more shit. Racism, misogyny, let me turn my phone off, inequality, marginalization. These things aren't necessarily outright illegal crimes. But we can all agree that they're all communally recognized, perpetuated horrors. On paper, we can identify what it means to actively oppress and marginalize. But when confronted with the demons of transgressors, it immediately becomes something that is overlooked. Our ambivalent approach to social cancers allow its continuation. I chug coffee. I have like a 5-cup brewer. This is too much information and I don't care. But I had 2 cups and I'm just here. We can all recognize racism as an unnecessary evil, just as well as James Baldwin calls the need for a nigger unnatural. We know that women shouldn't be objectified or made small. We can easily say that disenfranchisement, sexual harassment, and institutional acts of assault are bad things because we know better. Rather, we should know better. Some of y'all, I don't know, because some of y'all act like y'all don't know. I just have a hard time understanding and accepting how and why we justify cancerous behaviors. We know that racism is wrong. We know that our nation is essentially built on objectifying and exploiting black and brown bodies. We know that. We can accept that in reality and the law of nature, race is nothing more than a social construct. And yet, when we see racism active, and when we see, black men and women being treated unfairly, and when we see the disproportionate resources that are offered to the black community, we turn a blind eye to it. Like, yeah, racism is wrong, but he shouldn't have wore a hoodie. Or if you don't want to get arrested, then don't do the crime. But when you look at the things that happen to make people result to crime, you can't make a diagnosis if you don't care to understand the patient. We know that rape is wrong. Obviously rape is wrong. And these are things you know. These are things that I don't have to tell you. Like, these are things you should know. And if you don't know, then okay, we'll stop and take a step back and think to yourself, why do I think that's okay? Because it's not. Rape is horrible. And we know that. And we know that it's something that shouldn't exist and shouldn't happen. Yet we have people going, but look at that bitch was wearing, look what the fuck, what they did to get in that situation, Some of you are really just mean people. And I'm not saying I'm not a mean person, but I'm just saying, I feel like at least I hope that I'm mean within reason. Some of you are just lashing out against people for living their lives, and it's what's wrong with you? These are behaviors that we must confront. We must actively confront for the sake of building a better society, for the sake of existing. When you think about the context of our lives, whether it be done by us or we be accepting of its presence, what behaviors are we allowing, despite knowing their damnation? To prevent toxic behaviors is to understand their damage and to simply understand them as a danger, and just recognizing and wholly accepting that as an unnatural, unnecessary reality. Understanding and knowing for a fact that you choose to live, and to live, regardless of manner, is to exist socially. What we desire of our world is what we desire for ourselves, and that is to live comfortably. And to do so requires reciprocation of respect and openness, with the belief that giving is taking, but taking is not giving. What you put into the world to transcend will be reflected around you in your environment. There's no such thing as a utopia. That's just not really a reality. But that's not to say it isn't a goal. It starts to say to ourselves, okay, this behavior, whether it is present in me or it is present around me, simply should not exist in a progressive society, regardless if its impact is directly on me, because I understand that indirectly social behaviors are reflected onto me, even if they aren't necessarily apparent. And those who say, now everybody wants to be included. Back in my day, shit was different. Everybody... It was okay to have a little bit of oppression. Progress in our American values. Listen to yourself. Just because social values changed doesn't mean they were correct. Like, that's why they changed. Just remember that progression is a future, and the future is inclusive. The future wants to include you. The future wants everyone to be a part of it. The future acts to create a safe place for us all. That is what the future wants. That is evolution, essentially. How willing am I to disavow negative behaviors that affect those around me, that affect my community globally, nationally? What the fuck? Understanding that, even though I don't know the necessary sting of being oppressed in whatever intersection of any identity that I can either relate to or not relate to, I can still understand that has a poor impact on other communities who I share the society with. And therefore, I can't live in an ideal society if I allow that to continue, even if that isn't necessarily harmful to me and where I'm at. If you don't believe that is a word, then remember this. Like, you'll die. And you'll be buried with the fossils of poor social values, questionable integrity, and archaic behavior. My name is Fred, and stay safe.